In today's video, we will be learning how to tune the violin. Tuning your violin every time before you play or practice is crucial to success on the instrument, and the more you do it, the easier it will become. Let's get started. The parts of the violin we need to be familiar with here are the strings and their corresponding names, the tuning pegs, and the fine tuners. The strings from left to right are as follows: G, D, A, and E. Each of these strings is attached to a corresponding tuning peg at the scroll of the violin and a fine tuner at the base of the violin. Tuning pegs are simply wooden pegs that fit inside the peg box, and we use the tuning pegs to adjust the pitch higher or lower in larger increments. The fine tuners, however, are metal and consist of a small screw that helps adjust the pitch in smaller increments. If you're tuning your instrument regularly, you will mostly only need to use the fine tuners and will use the tuning pegs only from time to time as needed. So because the pegs are not geared tuners like a guitar might have, it's a little tricky to adjust them. They can be a bit sticky or difficult, especially on student violins. So this is why we often recommend getting as high quality a student instrument as possible for your budget. With the violin facing you, in order to raise the pitch, you'll be turning the peg away from you. And if you would like to lower the pitch, you will turn the peg towards you. Now, often when I am raising the pitch, I'll actually turn the peg a little towards me before turning it away. This is because if the peg is sticky, we don't want to suddenly snap a string by turning it too far too quickly. Hold the violin by the neck with your opposite hand and be sure to push the peg inwards towards the violin as you turn so that it'll stay in place. So let's say I'm wanting to bring this up. I'm going to turn it towards me a little bit and then turn away. Right? Now my note's too high. The fine tuners here are found on the tailpiece. And if your violin is still relatively in tune, you can just use the fine tuners to adjust. These are much easier to deal with, and if you're tuning your instrument regularly, you'll mostly just be using these anyway. To raise the pitch, you'll turn the screw clockwise or to the right, and to lower the pitch, you'll turn counterclockwise or to the left. As an example, here's my A. It's too high. I'm going to turn counterclockwise to lower that pitch. So now we're going to give you an idea of how to tune your violin using the Simply Tuner app. So often when tuning the violin, we start with the A string, then the D string, then the G string, check that all three are still in tune, then tune the E string, and then do a quick check of all four strings again. Sometimes by tuning one string, another can go out of tune, so it's important to recheck your tuning as you go. As a beginner, we will be plucking each string to check the tuning. So when you reach a higher level with your instrument and are comfortable with your bow, you may use the bow to play the string, which will provide a more accurate pitch. So on the Simply Tuner app here, we're going to open it up. You will first select the string that you are tuning. So we're going to select A here. So I just click on the A next to the peg, and it actually plays the pitch for us so that you can kind of hear what note is supposed to be played. Then you're going to pluck your A string. It says very low, so this means I need to raise the pitch. So I can use the pegs, however, let's start by trying to use the fine tuners instead. So I pluck. To raise the pitch, remember I'm going to turn the fine tuners to the right or clockwise. Well, it's getting closer. Ooh, there we go. Okay, it's pretty close. I only needed to change that a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the D string. Same thing. It's a little bit low. Good, now I'm gonna stop that ringing. I'm gonna go to the G. There we go, that's pretty close. And I can recheck all these. That's still good. A little high. Oh, that's perfect. And then I do my E. It's a little bit low. I'm going to turn it clockwise. And there you have it. My violin is tuned. If you're checking any of those strings, you want to remember once again to click the name of the string that you're going to pluck. It's also important to make sure that the environment around you is fairly quiet, so that you're not picking up sounds from people talking or from the TV or things like that. Temperature and humidity changes can affect your instrument quite a bit. So it's important that you don't leave your violin in extreme temperatures, whether hot or cold, for any extended period of time. Keep your instrument in a relatively climate-controlled area. The larger and more frequent the temperature changes, the more often your instrument will go out of tune, and damage can occur as well, such as open seams or cracks in the instrument. This is often due to a very dry environment. So yeah, essentially treat your violin like a baby. Tuning your instrument is probably one of the most complicated parts of learning the violin as a beginner, and often it takes some time and patience to master. So work together with a parent if that's applicable to you. Be patient and know that it will eventually become second nature. Good luck!